Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I know I'm not going to have time for a video today because I have a lot to do. So I just thought I'd do a vlog of everything that I'm doing today. So I need to get this guitar recorded because it was purchased by someone who's, anxiously awaiting this beautiful NAMM Show 59 reissue. So let's go ahead and run through how I make my reviews and demos. Part of my video process is I kind of storyboard out the episode, that way I know I'm covering everything that I want to cover because I hate it when I forget something. So here's what that storyboard looks like for the 59 60th anniversary Les Paul reissue. And I view my videos in chunks. This is the first chunk. The second chunk is when I have it on the workbench and I tear it apart. I also make a new storyboard for that to make sure I have every single spec that I need to talk about. Then don't forget having to do the playing demo. I don't have to write anything down for that though. And then I bring it back over here and sometimes I'll storyboard out like my final opinions and thoughts. So all that takes about 3 hours to do, and then there's another 1 hour for recording the B-roll shots. So you do that with the slider, which requires putting various different mounts on my camera to work. Then I also have to use my gimbal here for a few of those shots. And other than that, we also have to pack up 4 guitars, all before 5 o'clock, and this is 10 o'clock and I haven't even eaten lunch or even breakfast here. And here's our other ones we gotta send out. So let's go ahead and get this episode recorded. The main thing about my reviews and demos that take forever, besides the long time it takes to record it and the long time it takes to edit it, is I am not the most eloquent speaker in the world. I usually have to do that intro like 4 or 5 times until I'm happy with the way it sounds and the way that it looks, and then basically it just looks like I waved this guitar around a bunch of times. There's a lot of editing that goes into making these episodes coherent. But the raw footage for just a regular talking segment is usually anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, and I like to keep the final edited product between about 6 to 10 minutes. Because honestly, that's the main part that people come to watch. And it's the part that I mainly enjoy about my videos as well. But after that process, it's on to the workbench. I tear it apart, I do a light cleaning job, I make sure the frets are nice and polished, and I condition the fretboard. It usually takes me about 20 minutes to do that. Alright, so that took about 45 minutes. I've now got it on the workbench. I need to record all this stuff and storyboard this out. So we're making good time. I felt a little bit too rushed on that, so I'll probably have to do a bunch of voiceover work to add more stuff to this guitar. But we're racing a deadline here. The cutoff for UPS, I have to schedule it by 3 o'clock. Just to clarify on that, UPS will pick up your package same day, but the last time slot in my town is 4 to 5 p.m. And the website will cut you off after 3 p.m. They won't let you schedule one because they need at least an hour advance notice. I've always enjoyed taking a look inside of the guitar, so that's why I kind of just started doing it in my reviews and demos. However, it seems a lot of people end up clicking off at this point in the video, so I'm kind of contemplating not doing this anymore and just taking photos and talking about it during the main segment. I would definitely cut the time of my reviews down a little bit, but it might actually make it a more enjoyable video. I'm not sure. Let me know how you guys feel. I kind of like being able to document everything because that'll help people in the future. It also helps me be more open and honest about absolutely everything, so there's no surprises, we can get all the specs and all that. But this really does add a whole hour into the process, and the one bad thing is I tend to not actually check the guitars over until this point in it. So if I miss something in the unboxing and then I discover it, 2 or 3 months down the road, I'm kind of out of luck at that point. So that is the one bad thing about always videotaping that. And as far as the playing demo, I am not the best guitar player in the world. Sometimes I'll have the raw footage be a whole hour long and I edit it down just to 4 minutes of the best of the best. If you've been watching the channel for a while, there's been periods where I actually hire in other guitarists to do the playing demos, but it just seems the followers don't like that. They want to know my opinions, and if I'm not doing the playing demos, I'm not really forming opinions or remembering the guitars in any way. So I plan to stay with my demos because that's kind of the appeal of my channel. I might not be fantastic at guitar, but half the people that are watching my videos are probably at a similar level as me, so they're like, hey, that's what it would sound like if I had that guitar. That's a comment I see all the time. It doesn't mean I wouldn't like to get better at guitar one day, though. As far as my recording setup goes, I use a Rode NTG2. That's like my main voiceover mic. I just use this as like a room mic a couple of feet back. Then I use an SM57 right up on the speaker cabinet. And this mic is just blended very, very lightly within the mix just to open it up a bit. And I used this deluxe reverb amp recently. I used to use this Mesa Boogie, but I just kind of like the clean tones out of this a little bit better. And I've been using this little pedal right here for the distorted tones. It seems to work out pretty nicely. As far as my audio interface, I use this Apollo Twin. I definitely do not use it to its full potential. I just plug it in and go from there, and that all goes into my computer, which is a Mac Pro 2013. Well, 1248. So once we got the history, the inside look, and the playing demo done, then it's finally time to go back to the regular setup and record my final opinions on the guitar. There's a lot of moving around these mics all over the place, moving the cameras here and there, but it's a process in my opinion that makes it all work, and it makes sure that I document every guitar equally. And here's something new I've been doing for about 3 months, what I consider B-roll for my channel. I absolutely hate having to film this stuff because it takes another hour and a half, which is something that I really didn't want to add to these videos, but I just cannot make a review and demo without taking the time to get these juicy B-roll shots. It added so much to my videos, I just can't do it without it anymore. So what I'm using here is called a slider. They're about $300, which isn't too bad if your living is YouTube and making quality content. I can use this to get that nice steady shots, and I also use manual focus at this point. So that little slider, it can go back and forth, but it can also go up and down if you have something to kind of stabilize it here. So that's how I get those shots right here. It just looks like this. And then after I use my slider, I switch over to my gimbal, and that's kind of how I get these back and forth panning shots. Because I can control that with my phone, so there's no jittery movements here. I don't actually use the gimbal the way most people do, because I just couldn't get it steady enough. I need a better camera. But I also use it as kind of like a mini tripod here, and I use my phone as a flashlight to get those really cool darkness to lightness shots. Those are some of my favorite ones. And lastly, for those spinning shots, it's just me spinning it. And then I also use my tripod to get some zoom in shots. And recently I've also been taking them outside to get some nice beauty shots in the sun. Because, hey, it's kind of warming up now. Okay, so we got all that done, and it is 2:07, so I started that at about 10 with the storyboarding, so that's 4 hours on a rush job of a review. I mean, I'm never that fast. It usually takes anywhere between like 4 to 6 hours to do these things, because some guitars, they require a lot more talking and a lot more history and a lot more research to make sure I'm teaching the right stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to make this deadline or not, because I've got 4 guitars to pack in under an hour, including talking about them for the boxing unboxing segment, so wish me luck. Packing guitars under stress is never a good thing. Just make sure you do it one at a time to be very careful that you don't send the wrong guitar to the wrong person, because that's happened to me before. That was like when I first started. It's a nightmare to fix that. And it actually ended up being 5 guitars. Well, it's about 4 o'clock now. We just made it, because as long as I schedule that pickup by 3 p.m., they'll come anywhere between 4 to 5. My UPS lady has a habit of showing up directly at 4, though, so we made it just in time. So that's just 6 hours in a rush recording. That doesn't even include any editing stuff. So if you ever wonder why I upload at 2 a.m., it's because it takes a long time to make these videos. The editing process is another 5 to 8 hours, but we'll cover that in a separate episode. I hope you troglodytes enjoyed getting to see the behind the scenes of recording a review and demo. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.